Hi, and welcome back to Managing My Money with Rosa. So today is October the 10th, and it is my third week of sharing my dividends. So this is my update number 3 for dividends. I've actually been unintentionally investing in dividends since January of this year, but really didn't start to get serious until about 3 weeks ago, realizing that this was a passive income that I was interested in building and growing in a portfolio. So there are 2 ways in which I have received dividends. The first way is just having the cash deposited into my account. I didn't really have a whole lot of dividend stock, so it really was minuscule, and I really didn't get much for anything. Maybe $1 here, 50 cents there, 20 cents there. It really wasn't a lot, and I really didn't see anything, and I didn't feel like it was growing my account in any way, shape, or form. And the second way that I've just recently started receiving my dividends is what's called DRIP, Dividend Reinvestment Plan. And that's where my brokerage actually reinvests my dividends back into the stock so that my portfolio does grow. And I see it more as an intentional growth than as just random growth, which is what I was doing before. So I currently have both quarterly stocks and monthly stocks that pay me quarterly and that pay me monthly. And the first 3 were my very first 3 dividend stocks. Okay, they weren't my first 3. I actually had an Apple stock for a while that I sold, and that paid me quarterly. That was my first dividend stock. But these were the next 3 that I got. BTG, B2 Gold, Franco-Nevada, and Behringer Gold. They are all gold mining companies. So this was January, near the height of everything, and my husband was like, oh, we have to get into gold. We have to get into gold. So instead of purchasing actual gold, because the price was, we could not afford that, we instead invested in gold mining companies. And these 3 companies have been paying me dividends since January. Actually, March was when I got my first payment from them. But it was little, and it really wasn't having an impact on my account. The next quarterly stocks that I bought were AT&T, Fidelity, Utility Yield, and ExxonMobil. And I've just recently got into ExxonMobil. These were quarterly stocks that I liked their rate of return, their yield. And then I have 4 monthly stocks right now, pay me dividends every month. And GLAD, OXSQ, I can never get that one right, and PSEC. The 3 of those are essentially financial institutions that do loans for businesses. And then ORC is a realty. They hold realty all over the country and rent it out. So again, I liked the dividend yield of those 4, and they were monthly, and trying to grow my portfolio, I went with those 4 to start with. So thanks for joining me. If you are a subscriber already, thanks. I appreciate that you came back today. If you are new to my channel, I'd appreciate it if you would take a second and hit the subscribe button down below. As always, hit that bell for notifications, and I would love a thumbs up if you liked today's video. Also, I'd really like a comment down below if you have a stock that maybe you're interested in, so I can sit and do my own research before I decide to invest or not invest. If you have a fund that you really like, I'd love to hear it. So unfortunately this week I had no earnings. I don't have I'm pretty new to figuring out dividends, so I don't have it yet where I basically am earning something every 7 days. That is one of my goals. I have lots of goals for dividends, too many probably, that I'm all over the place, it seems like. But my next projected earnings are not until October the 21st. But this week I was able to actually purchase some stocks. So I play the bounce on a couple of different stocks, and I recently made my 20%. I sold the stock that I had, and now I had money to, instead of playing the bounce, I've decided to invest in dividend stocks. So The first one that I did was OXSQ, and I got 5 shares of it. My ExxonMobil, I only got 1 share. So $62 for me is pretty expensive when it comes to a stock. Some of you it may not be, but for me, $62 for a share is. Now, I need you to know I'm kind of kicking myself. 2 weeks ago, when I originally looked at ExxonMobil and was like, ooh, I like them, it was at $52. And I am kicking myself that I did not go ahead and invest, because that's a $10 increase. Forget the dividends I'm going to get off of it. That's a $10 increase to my portfolio right now, but can't go back and change things. So I bought in at $62.15. And then I bought 1 more AT&T. So now I have 2 AT&T stocks. I had only had 1 to start with. And then I bought 1 more share of Glad. My intent was to get it up to 5 shares. So now I have 5 shares of Glad. This week's goal coming up is to buy 2 shares of each of these. They are kind of divided between realty and more of those investment companies. I really liked all of their yields. So some are monthly, some are quarterly. So again, trying to break it up a little bit so that I can grow my portfolio in different ways. I also, one of these, I don't remember which one, is set in RZ, is actually the first of the month. So that's pretty exciting. So I'm also trying to spread out here. Some of them are the middle of the month, most of them are the end of the month, but just trying to spread out when I receive my dividends also. Currently, this was the exact same as last month. That was my 1 Apple share. Apple for me was really expensive when I bought it. I think I bought in at like $112, I think is where I bought in. And then it paid me 21 cents on that 1 share because I couldn't afford to buy another share. And I didn't have this one reinvested. It went into my account. But the May and August ones, I actually did do drips. So when I sold them, I got to sell more than 1 share, which was kind of exciting. But I sold it and reinvested in some other stocks along the way. And then I missed out on 2 because I didn't buy them in time. Every fund has a date when you have to purchase it by, so that you can qualify for dividends that month or that quarter. And I missed 2 of them, but that's all right, because the goal is to get them next time. And then down at the bottom is the interest from my high yield savings account. It's not a whole lot, and that's because there's not a whole lot in there. That's my retirement account, and I am slowly but surely trying to grow it. It's separate than what I have for I'm a teacher, so I have a 403B, and then I also have state retirement, and those obviously I can't touch until I'm in my 60s, but this I'm trying to grow so that I can begin to touch it sooner than my 60s. So I've tracking and watching the growth of that. And of course I had no dividends this month, so the October column is empty. It'll be empty next week too, but that's all right. So dividends by quarter. So on quarter 1 this year, it was $5.07. It was $5.40. And then last quarter, it was $8.27. And really, this jump is due to the fact that I got serious about dividends and that I purchased those monthly dividends. So I didn't have to wait until the next quarter for them. Right now, if I do out the average, I'm getting $2.75 a quarter. So if I take that $8.27 and divide it by 3 months, I'm getting $2.75 a month. My goal is to get to $10. And once I get to $10, I'll up it. And $10 doesn't sound like a lot, but considering I started at $5.07, $10 is a big jump, which says that I'm getting roughly $30 in the quarter. Of course, I'm still at 0 this month, but that's okay. So one of my favorite places to track my dividends is trackyourdividends.com. This doesn't purchase dividends for me. This doesn't do anything other than give me projections, which are what I like. So I have all of this stuff in a Google spreadsheet because I love spreadsheets, I love numbers, but I can't look at that projected out. So this site actually tells me my dividend on yield, so I should be getting 6.65%. However, it also tells me my yield on cost, and that's $6.23. So I'm going to start with, remember I told you I bought gold company, I bought the gold bearing, or the gold, all of a sudden I can't talk, mining companies back in January. Well, when I bought them in January and February, they were pretty much at highs. So I'm coming off of those, so I've lost a little bit of money, but that's okay because now I'm starting to have them pay for themselves by growing them. So that's just one example that my yield on cost, that's why I have more, what I paid for it isn't where it's at right now, it's less, so that's all right. And this is what I am floored. If I get all of the, if I take this $122 of annual income and divide it by 12 months, that right there tells me I'm getting just over $10 a month. So that is right spot on where I want to be. I cannot wait until December to see where I really fell. So I'm looking forward to that. And then my upcoming dividends, how I know that, so before I get to that, I don't like this slide at all. I don't feel like it has very much value because when I look at it, it says it's $8, it says it's $9, it says it's $15. But then when I scroll down to the next one, which I really like this one, it's what gives me those exacts. And that's where I am with this, is I want those exact numbers. So I like this shot a whole lot better. It tells me who I'm supposed to be getting earnings from this month. So these are all monthly. These are monthly, and AT&T is at one quarterly. And then these are a mix of monthly and quarterly dividends. So I'll be getting a lot more in December than I did in October and November. And that's all right. And then as I look down at this confirmed dividend calculator or calendar, so this is how I know that I'm getting no dividends. I'm not expecting any dividends this week. Even if I buy a stock between now and Friday, when it could potentially give me a dividend, I don't qualify for a dividend because I didn't purchase it in time, and that's all right. So my next dividend is coming in on the 21st. And if I want to really know what my next dividend is and where, I can scroll down here and I know that I'm going to be getting 12 cents from PSEC on the 21st. So it gives me a snapshot of what I'm getting and on what day as well. And then future values. Future values is one of my favorite screens in here. So my dividend growth rate is pretty low. I don't like this. Again, it's one of those many things on dividends that I intend on working on building up. It's at 2.28%. I'd really like it to be like a 5% growth rate. I think that would make me feel pretty comfortable. My dividend on yield is 6.65, which we know really isn't because I paid too much for some things and they've declined in value. And then my starting annual income is 122, and that ending annual income. So this runs off of a 10-year gap to start with. It immediately comes in at 10. So it's looking like in 10 years, I'm going to get $336. Now this is assuming I do not drip, and this is assuming I do not purchase any additional stocks. That 5-year look, I'm only going to get $189. But again, my goal is in 5 years to be pretty close to having this passive income replace my full-time income. So I intend on continuing to use the drip method in order to grow my portfolio, but I also intend over the next 5 years to continue investing in more dividend-bearing stocks. So that's all right that it's this low. It actually is going up slowly but surely. So not too long ago, I want to say week 2, I think I was like $90 here. So everything is moving in the right direction, which is really exciting for me. So that's track your dividends. So if you've enjoyed my video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the subscribe button down below, hit that bell for notifications, and I'd really like a thumbs up. Give me the piece of advice that you would do, or maybe a website that you like to track your dividends. I would love to hear it. And thanks so much for stopping in today and spending a little bit of your time with me on managing my money with Rosa and looking at my dividend update number 3. I'll talk to you later. Bye.